Hello, welcome to Module 4 of Working with EEG Data. This is Section 1, Lesson 2. And this lesson is about brainwaves. So this is what we already know. EEG can be used to measure spontaneous brain activity or brain activity that occurs during a specific event. And for brain electrical activity to be detectable through the skull, there must be a strong signal summed over many neurons that behave similarly and orient the same way at the same time. And here are some key questions that we'll cover in this video. What are neural oscillations? What are the different types of brainwaves? And what do brainwaves tell us about different states of consciousness? Neural oscillations, also known as brainwaves, are rhythmic or repetitive patterns of neural activity in the central nervous system. They occur during activation of large clusters of neurons, but they can also occur with a single neuron as well. Although the raw data obtained from EEG are formatted as a function of time, neural oscillations are visualized in terms of frequency, and therefore they're measured in units of hertz or cycles per second. So let's first explore what EEG can measure by looking at patterns of brain activity associated with particular states of consciousness or behavioral states. We'll be talking more about these specific brainwaves in the next few slides in more detail. So this is just a basic overview. As shown here in Figure A, when a person is aroused, excited, or even just alert, the EEG pattern has slow amplitude or wave height and high frequencies, so there are a higher number of brainwaves per second. This beta rhythm is typical of an EEG taken anywhere on the skull of an alert participant, not only in humans but other animals as well. And then in contrast, when a person is calm and resting quietly, especially with the eyes closed, rhythmical, larger, slower brainwaves emerge, as shown here in this figure. These so-called alpha waves wax and wane in amplitude at a frequency of approximately 11 cycles per second. And in humans, the largest alpha rhythms come from the region of the visual cortex at the back of the head. So if a relaxed person is disturbed or opens his or her eyes, the alpha rhythm stops abruptly. So not everyone displays alpha rhythms, and some people display them much more consistent than others. EEG is a sensitive indicator of states other than arousal and relaxation. So figure C through E illustrates the EEG changes that take place as a person moves from drowsiness to sleep and finally enters deep sleep. So as the EEG rhythms become slower in frequency and larger in amplitude, theta waves and then delta waves are basically produced. And these distinctive brainwave patterns make the EEG a reliable tool for monitoring waking and other conscious states. Slower waves also occur during anesthesia. Brain trauma may also result in EEG slowing, so making EEG useful for evaluating how severe a head injury is, like in this figure, which shows a comatose EEG signal. And if the brain ceases to function or there is a brain death, the EEG trace becomes a flat line. So delta waves are between 1 to 4 hertz, and these high amplitude waves are linked with slow wave sleep. They are commonly used by laboratories to provide insights into the depth of sleep. The stronger the delta waves, the deeper the sleep is. And theta waves here are 4 to 8 hertz. Two types of theta oscillations have been described based on the location of their occurrence. So the hippocampal theta rhythm is a strong oscillation that can be observed in the hippocampus, while the cortical theta rhythms are low frequency components of scalp EEG. There's no clear understanding of the function of theta waves. However, a combination of several theories supports that hippocampal theta waves are linked to navigation and memory. Theta waves are known to be present during cognitive tasks such as memory encoding and retrieval and mental arithmetic. Theta waves increase in power with memory demands. Meanwhile, cortical theta waves are observed more frequently in young children and appears during meditative, drowsy, hypnotic, and non-deep sleeping states. And alpha waves, which is around 7.5 to 12.5 hertz, are commonly associated with cognitive functions such as attention and awareness. So alpha waves are also linked with learning processes and are the most common frequency analyzed in mood or meditation apps because alpha waves take you into a state of relaxed wakefulness. Therefore, alpha waves are often used in biofeedback training to track relaxation. And beta waves are between 13 and 30 hertz, and these waves are commonly associated with concentration or attention. So beta waves are present when we plan or execute movements using any of our body parts. They are also known to increase as we observe the physical actions and motions of other people. And gamma waves, which are 30 to 70 hertz, are fast waves associated with attention, consciousness, and perception. There is a spike in gamma waves during rapid eye movement called microsaccades, which are considered integral parts for sensory processing and information uptake. So, why do neural oscillations matter? Well, brain waves are useful in a variety of ways. From a diagnostic and imaging perspective, they can be used as indicators of specific neurological phenomena such as sleep and a state of consciousness, motor control, perception, and information processing. Also pattern generation, memory, abnormal neural functions such as epilepsy and Parkinson's. So in this lesson, we learned about neural oscillations, which promote the temporal coordination of neural processes underlying cognition, memory, perception, and behavior. Specifically, we learned about brainwaves that differ in frequency, including delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma brainwaves. For our next lesson, you will learn some EEG terminology that would be useful whenever you're working with EEG data, so stay tuned.